Hey folks, it's Wednesday night. You know what that means. Team FYN Sports and Circuit World of Blue Ridge present Fannin Rebel's wrap-up. I'm suited up, Coach. I'm ready. Put me in the game, baby. I got to give a shout-out to the Fannin County Park and Rec, Tim Towle, Eddie O'Neill. Thanks for the baseball hat this week. I'm suited up, ready to go. Hey, we want to thank Papa's Pizza to Go and Pepsi for providing the meal for the players and the drinks. And Team FYN Sports sponsors, all of our sponsors out there. And please follow us on Twitter at Team FYN Sports, Instagram, and Facebook. Find our Facebook page. We're here with head coach Chad Cheatham and defensive coordinator Adam Turner is with us. We're talking 3A Region 7 football. Our first two Rebels on the couch to start our show is number 50. A senior, Michael Lewis, he's offense and defensive line. And number 33, Thomas Mercer, outside linebacker, and he's a sophomore. Before we get started, let's tell you where everybody stands. And we're going to talk about this because this is a conversation we were having earlier, and we're at that point of the season where everybody starts talking about the configuration and who has to do what and how people get into what game and where people stand. So we're going to ask Coach to help clear that up a little bit tonight for us and you out there, the fans. Greater Atlanta Christian, 5-0. Dawson, 3-1. North Hall, 3-1. Fannin, 2-2 in the region. Lumpkin, 1-3. East Hall, 1-3. Cherokee Bluff, 0-5. This past week, GAC was over Cherokee Bluff, 45-7. North Hall hung it big on Lumpkin, 70-0. And Dawson, 53 over Fannin, 7. So, Coach, before we get started on, the region and who has to win and who has to do this and that for Friday night, Dawson, let's talk about that game. They are sitting in the second spot up there right behind Greater Atlanta Christian. You knew you were going to see a good football team Friday night. Tell us what happened in that game.
Well, they're a good football team, very talented, a lot of numbers, and we obviously were banged up coming in and not making excuses or anything like that, but banged up. We had some players out and played a lot of young kids, got some good experience. I was proud of our kids. I thought they fought for 4 quarters. Obviously talent-wise, they're better than we are right at this point, and they're deeper than we are. And when that happens, they're able to bring guys in and keep them fresh. We were playing a lot of kids, young kids and old kids that were playing on both sides of the ball. So it was we ran the clock early and tried to keep it close, but inevitably and eventually those big bodies get you in those athletes.
I have watched them play over there, and they are deeper than your team over there. They got some more depth than you do. But you brought up something I want you to elaborate for the fans out there at this point of the season. How healthy is the team? You said a little banged up. So how healthy is the team right now?
We went from a little banged up to a little bit better. Obviously Chandler's still out, but Mosley's back, Traylon's back, Cohutta Hyde is back. So we've made some strides and some progress, and we held some guys last week that we were concerned about, and we didn't want to just keep aggravating those things because we knew how important this one was to us, and we didn't want to take a risk on anything happening. But we are, with the exception of Chandler, we're in better shape than we were 3 weeks ago.
Let me give that same question to you, Coach. The Dawson on the defensive side, Coach Turner. What happened Friday night, and where do you guys stand right now? Where the defense is at? Tell us a little bit on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, I mean, we knew, like Coach Cheatham said, we knew going to the football game. Dawson County they're a pretty good football team. They only lost to Greater Atlanta Christian, who was been the head honcho in 7 AAA, the last couple of years since they came into it, and I kind of felt like, it was one of those games too when those two teams played where, whoever was at home probably had the upper hand because to me, Dawson County, they're a little more complete now than they have been the past couple of years. Now, as far as going into the ball game with us, we had to hold some guys out, like Coach Cheatham said. We played some young guys. Played Seth Reese at safety, who's a freshman. And Thomas played some outside linebacker because we had some injuries, and we knew it was going to be a real challenge for us. Or they're really they're overall just a really good offensive football team. They do a great job running the ball, and but. I think in the end, throwing young kids in the fire is going to pay off down the road. Building this program, in the leadership of Coach Cheatham. It's one step at a time, and I think throwing those young kids in there really, that just put us a little bit closer, one step closer.
Anytime you get some of the younger guys with a live snap, it's just a move forward period.
Yeah,
absolutely,
nothing that
absolutely.
Can take grass time is amazing in game speed. We talked about earlier, last week. Once they've got to see that, it helps tremendously.
Number 33 here, Thomas Mercer, outside linebacker, is one of those young guys. You're a sophomore, Thomas. You were here last week. But we talked about last week when you left because you were going to see Dawson, and we talked about it. Now that you've played them, under that center, there's about 3 different guys that can come out of there with the football, right? Yes. There's about 3 different guys.
At least.
Huh?
At least.
When they line up, I've been over there to watch them play. When they line up under center, about 3 different guys. What was that on that linebacker position to try to key on and get a grip on with that kind of speed last Friday night?
Well, it was a tough game. Our D-line's a little small. They're a little faster, last week in that case. And it was tough. It was tough to see the gaps because, when your D-line's small, the O-line's kind of back in your face. But, there's not many excuses I can make. The experience was good, though. They're a great football team, and I did, learn from it. But
well, I think what you're saying there is if you can walk away on Friday night and you feel like you're getting better, right. Obviously we want the scoreboard to reflect something, but you walk away feeling better. And let me ask that number 50 here, Michael Lewis, offense and defensive line as a senior this year. Your defensive line, talk to that also, because Dawson, like Coach Turner said, I think it was 23-20 against GAC. They're a fast team. They're a well-equipped team. But on that defensive side of the line, like I said, they got about 3 guys that you don't know who's coming out with that football when it's snapped. What was it like seeing that kind of speed, trying to adjust, playing that?
Their offensive line moved very well with their feet, and they was just real big, and couldn't see in the backfield much with how big they were. And whenever they'd cut outside, we just couldn't catch them. So it was just tough for us.
Let's switch gears, and I want to ask both. Well, let me ask you this before I switch gears over to Lumpkin County. On the offensive side of the ball, how do you feel the offensive line, you guys have come together this year at this point of the season? Because I think for me as coach, I want to see my offensive unit up front. I want to see them all together as a group and things working. How is that for the line this year where you're at this point?
We're about as maxed out as we can get. We're very good up front. Second game we lost Mason. I had to go in, and we got him back. It kind of stabilized everything out again, and we've just been getting better ever since.
All right, let's switch gears over to Lumpkin. You're going to go over to Lumpkin Friday night. You guys, you know this is a big football game, all right, for you this Friday night. You're going to see a whole different offense. I think Wing T, right?
Wishbone.
Wishbone. I know there was a W there. Yeah. Wishbone. They're going to run at you.
Sure.
All right, that's they're going to run the wishbone. They're going to run at you. You're going to see it different. They're coming at you Friday night. And what time I've watched Lumpkin 3 times this year, they're going to pound north and south. Correct, Coach?
Yes, sir.
So what are you guys seeing as far as an adjustments this week that you're going to see on defense over there, both of you, this Friday night?
Well, we've got bigger guys up front on our defensive line. We've took all the small guys out, put them back where they belong, back in safeties and stuff. And we're not so much as slanting. We're just head up, banging it, making sure nobody gets to the linebackers, creating piles, just so the linebackers can make the plays.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those games, where, we got 5-man front sometimes, and, to keep the O-line off of the linebackers, this game's going to be very big for the linebackers because, they're going to be hitting the gaps and, taking over the running back for this game and stopping the guy with the ball overall.
Those linebackers got to be ready for that 3 and 4 yards in, and they are that wishbone. They're coming after you. Let me ask both of you. Practice this week. You're a senior. Okay. Have you played all 4 years on the team?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is, I guess, the year you've been waiting for, correct? Would I be right about that?
Yes, sir.
This is the year you've been waiting for. You've been all 4 years. You knows what at stake Friday night. What's the attitude? Let me hear both of you. The team this week at practice, and how pumped up are you for Friday night?
Well, it's been easy going. We try not to get anybody hurt, but we're definitely excited for this one. You know, it's our chance to prove everybody wrong. You know, Fannin's known for having it hard through football the past couple of years, and obviously everybody knows that. But this is our chance to, you know, show them that we can do it, even if we're smaller than we were last year. Where we've definitely, you know, come together much better as a team, and I love it. And practice today was high tempo, and it was fun, and it was good. And at the end of the day, you know, we're still a team, and we still love each other.
Should we end the show there, Luther?
And cut.
Cut. All right. What about for you?
Just going off what he said, we've been going hard. We realize we haven't been big these few years and haven't had a lot of success, but Coach Cheatham coming in, making us a family, making it fun again, it's just been a whole lot easier on us.
All right, I ask this every week. You were here last week. When you left Friday night, what did you say you have to critique yourself on? What are you working on that you're focusing on for yourself that you got to get better at?
I definitely want to be more aggressive. I mean, overall, I do need more experience, you know, but I don't want to use that as an excuse. At the end of the game, you think back and you're like, man, I should have dove for that tackle, you know, and, you know, just go into games without regrets at the end of them.
How about yourself? What was that for you after you left Friday night? You said, hey, man, you critique yourself, look inside and say, this is what I'm going to work on.
I've just got to get better on offensive line, moving myself laterally on passes.
Coach, before we get into this break, let me ask you this. You're sitting at 2-2 in the region. Lumpkin's 1-3. Do you care to share the configuration of the region and how things work out from Friday night?
Well, you know, if we win and take care of business like we should, like we hope to do, we're in.
A win is a done deal.
A win is done. We're in 4th slot. You know, if not, there's a possibility it could come down to the East Hall game, East Hall Lumpkin game. Still could get in. We're not counting on that. I mean, we need to go down and take care of business and do what. They're a good football team. I feel like we're a good football team, and we just, you know, for us, I told the kids today, this game is one of those that defines your program and where you're at. They hadn't made playoffs since 2010. Never made it in AAA. Made it 6 times in the history of the school, which I think is 1976. This defines us. This makes us, and you hate to put that much emphasis on one game because you try to treat every one of them the same and prepare exactly the same way. But this one does bite a little bit more and has a little bit more grit to it.
Well, you know, if I'm wrong, and you know, don't hesitate to correct me on live TV. Okay, don't hesitate. If I'm wrong, just tell me. But when you come in and you're taking a team, and you have the seniors, and you have the freshmen, and you got to bring them along and get them to buy in.
That's right.
So you have a couple different things that have to happen that first year.
Extremely tough. That's the hardest thing. Because you know, as you and I know both, old habits are hard to break, and you have to win both classes. You have to win the young kids, and you have to win the old kids too. And a lot of times, it's a lot harder to win the older kids to believe in what you're doing. And like Michael said, I think with the fun and the energy and the tempo that we use, I think it's changed. Allow my coaches to coach, and so. Yeah, you're right. It's hard to mesh all that together.
But the seniors bring the younger guys along, so if you can get them, and I will say this, I've spent enough time with the team that the entire coaching staff, this Rebels entire coaching staff, has done an outstanding job this year, getting the seniors involved, getting them to buy in, and bringing the younger guys along.
That's right.
Coach, I appreciate it. We're going to take a brief break. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching Rebel Wrap Up here at Circuit World in Blue Ridge, And we want to thank Papa's Pizza to Go. Don't forget, sometimes stop over to Papa's Pizza to Go right here at Blue Ridge and say thank you for providing the meal for the players. And also we thank Pepsi. And we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back. And our next two Rebels that'll be on the couch, Miles Johnson will be up next, and Mason Rhodes.
Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff. Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellen, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World. Hey Rebel fans, come visit the Dairy Queen Grill and Chill of Blue Ridge, Fannin County High School's Meet, Eat, and Treat headquarters. Highway 5 in Blue Ridge. Proud sponsors of the Fannin County Rebels.
The model year end clearance rolls on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, and the discounts on 2018 Chevys are huge. Forget MSRP on America's pickup truck. Save over $13,000 off Silverado Crew Cab LT. Forget MSRP on America's muscle car. Save over $7,000 off Camaro. The model year end discounts are huge, but the 2018 Chevys are going fast. Hurry to Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Papa's Pizza to Go in downtown Blue Ridge is the best in the area all-you-can-eat buffet. Call ahead or order online now at papaspizzatogo.com. Use our convenient pickup window for the best in pizza, subs, wings, breadsticks, salads, and more. And be sure to check out our lively game room. We serve lunch and dinner, catering available, take out or dine in. Papa's Pizza to Go in Blue Ridge, proud sponsors of the Fannin County Rebels.
Hey folks, we're back. Team FYN Sports and Circuit World of Blue Ridge present Fannin Rebel Wrap Up. We want to thank Papa's Pizza to Go and Pepsi for providing the meal and the drinks tonight, and all of our Team FYN Sports sponsors. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Team FYN Sports and our Instagram page and Facebook. Team FYN Sports, always highlighting and promoting young athletes in a positive way. And we were talking about during the break, we just want to give you a quick reminder that November 3rd, the Mountain Football League Super Bowl, all 6 teams. That Saturday, we will be broadcasting that live on FYN TV. Looking forward to that. We're talking 3A Region 7 football here. And if you have just joined us, we'll run through it again. Greater Atlanta Christian 5-0, Dawson 3-1, North Hall 3-1, Fannin 2-2, Lumpkin 1-3, East Hall 1-3. Cherokee Bluff 0-5. Now Friday night, Cherokee Bluff will be over at Dawson County. North Hall will be at East Hall, and your Fannin Rebels will be traveling over to take on the Lumpkin Indians. Coach, let's just go right into that. This game, we touched on a little bit before the break, and we started getting into the makeup of what the region looks like. But talk about where you're at, how big a game this is, what practice is like with the guys, what you've been telling the guys about Friday night. What's that been like this week?
Like I said before, you try to be as routine as possible, and I know that's an old cliche, but you try to stay in the process, stay with the same things. But obviously, we all know the elephant in the room is we got to make the playoffs. We want to make playoffs in AAA. So in the back of our minds, we're practicing safe, but we're also in knowing that we're getting after it. And today we had an open defensive period, team defense period. It got really good. I was worried. I almost had to cut it off because I was afraid that we were going to get another injury. But I think our kids are ready. I think they understand what's at stake, and they want to do something that hadn't been done in a long time.
Well, let me ask you this. As far as, the team being ready for Friday night, you're coming off a couple back-to-back hard losses. How do you change those gears, get everybody's head back to, hey, we can win football games. We've won football games. We're a good football team. How is that getting that changed around?
I think you focus on the good things. You put the past behind you, and you try to praise the little things that we're doing right now. And even though the score's not necessarily indicative of how we played on film, it's never as good as it seems, and it's never as bad as it seems. You go back and look at film at North Hall. You go back and look at film at Dawson, and there were kids out there that were doing some great things, that were outsized and outmatched. And so I think you harp on those things, and that's how you continue to build those confidence. And you get in a game like this, and I think that bleeds over.
All right, I want to get our guys in here now. Number 55, senior, Mason Rhodes. He's outside linebacker. And number 78, Miles Johnson, playing the offense and defensive line as a junior. Miles, talk about that as a junior. I know we've talked. You've been on the show several times about being on the team as a freshman and sophomore this year. Talk about this Friday night's game, what you see coming up at Lumpkin on both sides of the ball.
Everybody knows this is one of the most important games we've had in Fannin County in a long time. This is going to determine we go state playoffs basically or not, and we don't want to have to lean on somebody beating somebody else. We want to just get it done. And I've thought this through my head for the whole week. It's so bad I want to win this game. I want to be able to prove people we can play and we can compete with whoever we want to compete with. And everybody at practice, we know what's at stake this week, and this is a very beatable team. And I think we should beat them, and we should just get business done with and go to playoffs.
So the last couple of weeks, you guys have already shrugged that off. It's done. It's over with, out of your mind, and you're ready for Friday night.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, same thing with you, Mason. As a senior, watching this team grow, and with the point you're at this year, what's Friday night mean to you, and what do you see Friday night?
Well, like Miles was talking, this is our chance to make playoffs. I think it'd be nice because everybody knows Fannin County is the sucky team, and it'd be nice to make playoffs once just to prove everybody wrong.
Okay, all right.
Truth hurts.
Yeah,
let me check with the judges, Luther. Is that a bad word? Are we good with it? Luther's the judge. All right, he's okay. So we're all right with that.
Thank you.
We had to check. We had to check with our judges over here. We're gonna, Luther, next year put down a yellow flag. You throw it in every once in a while. If we got to call a penalty, okay?
Oh,
no, Mason.
I look forward to that.
Mason, let me ask you this though. Outside linebacker, Lumpkin is going to that wishbone. They're coming at you as an outside linebacker. You got to be ready if they push through that front line, hit that gap. Talk about what you're seeing on film with them and what you guys have to be ready for Friday night.
Well, we got to play downhill big time because if they get 3-4 yards every time, then it's game over because 3 yards, 3 times 4 is 12.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100 times. Every time I watch them play, I've watched them several times, and you're exactly right. 3 times 4, they move the chains.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to try to move the chains. They're not a real big, and I don't want to say they can't do it. Every team can, but they're not a real big play team.
Right.
They're out to move the chains. So you guys got to meet them at the line Friday night, do you not?
Yeah.
And that's what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
What about playing outside linebacker? Not to back up, but talk a little bit since I have you here about playing Dawson Friday night.
Well, their line was big and they could move real good, and that is a very good combination to have. And whenever you got a big line that can move good and you got backs like they have, it's hard to stop.
Double on what he said as far as Lumpkin's offense is coming at you from the defensive side because you are on the defensive line. Are you seeing the same thing that Mason's seeing?
Oh, yeah. Defensive line, we got to fill holes. Let the linebackers make a play. Do your job, be a teammate. Don't mean you have to make a tackle every play. Just make sure he can get his hole and fill his hole, and we'll be fine for the night.
Because Mason's right. They run north and south, and they're coming at you, and they're going to try to push They're going to try to push your defensive line.
Yeah, we just got to push harder.
There you go. I mean, this is like show-ending comments, man. That we could just drop the flag.
Game.
We're going to push harder, Coach. Let me follow that with you as a defensive coordinator. With what these guys have said, because it's actually what these guys are talking about really reflects on what they're studying and working on this week, and they know their opponent. Talk about that as far as them running that wishbone.
Well, all week we just had the defensive line. We've put some bigger bodies in the defense, because we're not really playing. They will at times have some spread concepts, but. Excuse me, they kind of hang their hat on the wishbone, and the 2-time we had to put some bigger bodies so we could get some, get the offensive linemen occupied, allow guys like Mason and Mercer and Micah and Mosley, and allowing them to run free, and we've really repped it hard this week. I mean, on occupying guys, and they've done a pretty good, decent job with it this week. I mean, and I think Miles pretty much hits the nail on the head. I mean, our guys understand, for this to work and to stop that stuff, we've got to, we've all got to do our job equally and occupy people and allow, other guys to make tackles when needed. I mean, when they have to, and we've had a pretty good week of practice today. And so Coach Cheatham said we got pretty chippy today, which I love. And it was a pretty good ending to an exclamation point on the week, as far as practice goes, because we really kind of got after it today, and that's what it's going to take Friday. We can't play passive Friday. We got to be running downhill, and we got to, we got to knock the mess out of them.
I watched them play two teams. I watched them play White this year, and I watched them play GAC, and for what it's worth, actually they did not play. They didn't do a bad job playing GAC. But
no, they don't. They don't do a bad job.
Both teams, White County and GAC, they're outmatched size-wise. So you can't put the 4 quarters together that you want. And what I'm saying is Mason's 100% right. When they first started the game, I watched them getting 3.
Oh, sure, absolutely, and they do a great job with it.
And next thing, the chains is moving.
And then with that, the clock's moving.
The clock's running.
That's what scares you. Because they get the ball and they go 8-9 minutes and you don't get to touch it. We got to get off the field.
When it comes to running, I watch their defense also. I want to flip over to you on your offense here. Fannin, you guys are, you're a big play team. You hit some big strikes out there and break away, and next thing you know, guys running 20, 30 yards. So you guys have been good all year with breaking some big plays, but their defense, turning it around, their defense, even with GAC and White, on the running game and things like that, they were pretty stout. And the only thing I would see is, like, every once in a while, obviously, GAC would get in behind them and they were gone. Same thing with White because they had some big playmakers.
Sure.
So talk about the defensive side and what your offense is up.
Well, you know, they're an even front, a 4-2-5, 4-3 scheme, too high in the secondary, and they play a lot of different coverages, with seam coverages and things like that. But we've got to do what we do and what we know best, and a lot of times that's getting behind Miles and Mason and Baltimore Raven over there, and
I didn't say it, man. Don't put it
Michael, and we got to run underneath our pads and kind of got to match that physicality offensively. Is there an opportunity for us to hit some big plays? Sure there are. Are we going to count on that? No. We've got to, obviously, like we talked about with the clock moving, with their style of offense, you've got to get stops, and when you get the football, you've got to make it count. You've got to score points because you don't know when you're going to get it back. So there might be some times we have to take shots. You know, we get a second short on our side of the field, we might take some shots, but we're not going to get away from what we do. We feel like we can be as physical as they are up front with all our kids, and they believe that. They believe in our running game. They believe in Traylon and Mosley and those guys. And, you know, that's kind of what we're going to stick with.
Mason, I'm hearing you guys got chippy this week in practice, and you're all pumped up. Your attitudes are great. Your vision of what you see coming at you Friday night, it's perfect to me. All right, what you guys are saying you already see out in front of you on Friday night. But for you, Mason, when you left last Friday night, what did you critique yourself on? What did you say you got to work on? What's that for you?
I need to work on shooting my gaps earlier, working more downhill, because like the offense that they run, like I said, 3 yards, it kills you in the long run.
Miles, what was that for you when you were came home Friday night? You said, "Hey, I got to get to work on this."
My thing is, I need to just keep playing all 4 quarters, no matter what, and however bad we're losing or winning. I mean, that's always something you want to do, and that's one thing I mainly want to improve on. And because it's going to take 4 quarters for Lumpkin for us to win. Not saying that it should be a real close game, but I'm going to play all 4 quarters. I'm going to have to play both ways, so might as well give it all I got while I'm out there.
I know you're not focusing on this, but I'm going to be on the sideline, so give me some good video coverage, okay, Coach? Try to think about that. I mean, try to think about it. Give me something. Give me something to work with Friday night, Coach. Hey, folks, Team FYN Sports, that is our game of the week. The Lumpkin Indians and the Fannin Rebels. I'll be over there Friday night, get the sounds of the games, get interviews with the players, coaches. We look forward to a good time over there, but we want you to travel over and join us. Hey, this is direct, serious, straighten up, listen to me. These guys want you in the stands. So right now, make plans, get it together, drive over there, support these guys. I don't care what kind of faces Miles is making in the background that I can't see right now. But you guys get it together, come over, support the team seriously. This is a great football team, great attitude, and what a way to bring a community together. Friday night football, right?
That's right.
Can't beat it. I'm your host, BKP. Hey, again, another shout out to my friends over there at Fannin Park and Rec. Eddie O'Neill and Tim Tao for my baseball hat. Cody Gray, don't get nervous. I'm taking care of the jersey. I know you watch just to make sure it's okay. I'm your host, BKP, Team FYN Sports, Circuit World of Blue Ridge, Papa's Pizza to Go, Pepsi for the drinks, always promoting and highlighting young athletes in a positive way. Thank you to all of our sponsors. What I miss?
Instant replay.
Oh, instant replay. Okay. Thanks, Luther. Throw the flag. Hey, Monday mornings at 10 a.m., FYNTV.com live, instant replay with Dave Garner, highlights and video clips from Friday night's games. I think that's it, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the house.